What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Hype Cast. We have some brand new interviews from Naoki Hamaguchi, the director of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. This is so exciting. So I'm excited to talk about it with you. I'm excited to share this hype with you guys. This is the first update we've had in a while. And Hamaguchi, let's first of all, let's shout out Hamaguchi. Let's talk about how awesome he is in interviews. Let's talk about he is a warrior of hype. Do you know what I mean? He is a warrior of hype. He can bring the hype in his interviews. He's very clearly excited about his own work. He's excited to share that, and he's very consistent as well. Like, there's not a lot of contradictory statements and stuff like that. He's very clear in talking about it. And he comes across as a fan. I just gotta give a shout out. I feel like he's the face of Final Fantasy. No, he's not the face of Final Fantasy, but he is definitely feeling like more like the face of Final Fantasy VII at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about some of these interviews that he's been doing. And before we get into that, what's up, Excalibur? How you doing?
Hey. What's up, big dog?
What up, bro? Bro, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, sir. Man, whether it's Sakaguchi or Hamaguchi, Final Fantasy, just keeping it Gucci.
Keeping it Gucci in the Final Fantasy, bro. Hamaguchi. Yes, that's awesome, man. I'm really excited about this. So let's go ahead and maybe just dive right in. Let's just start talking about some of these interviews that's been going on. So first one, let's go with the first one. Let's go with Screen Rant. Let's bring up Screen Rant. We'll start off a little light. We'll start off light, and then we'll get into the fun stuff, part 3 stuff. So this is Screen Rant. This is by Chris Carter, who did the interview for Screen Rant. And then Hamaguchi says, I highlighted. Of course, a lot of these interviews are talking about the Switch 2 and Xbox re-releases coming out. So if you're interested in all of that, then please definitely read all of these articles. That's why I'm making sure that I cite the source. You know what I mean? Who I want to give credit to who wrote it, and I think that's extremely important. And I will in the link, or I put links in the description of this video so you guys can click those links, go read the articles. Please support in that way. So this is Hamaguchi saying, let's think it was talking about the changes, and Hamaguchi was happy to oblige. He says, something that we were particularly mindful for the remake was thinking of all of the fans in the original of Final Fantasy VII IP. How much should we be reconstructing in today's modern expression that would continue to satisfy the existing fans? At the same time, when development was happening, the Beauty and the Beast movie remake was released. That movie, the original, was one I watched as a child, and then they now have the live action that's a remake. I saw that the overall story and world itself was not altered, but it was completely deconstructed in a way to really entertain today's viewers, which was deeply satisfying. He continues by saying, watching this movie for me at the time poses a great reference in our creative works, and going forward, part 2 and part 3 of our remake series. Now we have this foundational experience. We're thinking more so, how can we surprise and entertain our players as an extension of that? I think really delving into that has led to the success of Rebirth. For part 3, we're thinking in terms of how we can pique the curiosity and maintain interest. That's been the focus for us in development, and I believe we're going to be able to provide something that's really going to make an impact in people's hearts. So, did you watch the live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast?
I did, yes.
Okay.
It's been a few years, but I have seen it.
Yes, this was like one of the first live-action remakes from Disney, right? I'm pretty sure. And I remember actually enjoying that one. I remember that one being really good. And then I also remember going back and watching the original movie and thinking like, I actually kind of like the remake. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
Yeah.
the remake felt like a very respectful expansion of the original, and it felt like it added to it, if anything. Like it really complemented what was already there. And I remember when I walked out, I felt like if more of the live action remakes honor the original in the way that this does, they could be onto something here. And yeah,
you,
well,
you, you
we are
wanted,
living in the future now, so we know
wow.
what happened.
Disney said, how about no? Um, but no, when it comes to this movie in particular from Disney, I think what Hamaguchi is referring to is actually a good thing, right? Because when you hear about it nowadays, when you hear about these Disney live action movies, you might be like, that's not a good inspiration though. But the
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast live action remake I thought was actually pretty good. So it's kind of cool that he keeps referencing Beauty and the Beast, because this isn't the first time he's brought this up. Like I've known that this was an inspiration for the FF7R trilogy for a while. So the fact that he keeps bringing it up, it must actually be a pretty inspirational thing. So that was the first thing. Now let's
Okay.
go on over to Level Up, which I believe this one was actually translated from Spanish to English by Google. So just keep that in mind as we go. All right. Now that Square Enix is fully embracing cross-platform development, do you think this affects how you approach a project from the ground up? Let me see. It is something I wanted to. Basically, being limited to a single console type for a specific environment limits the audience you can reach. It's our new president's vision of releasing cross-platform products, and something we can want to continue to do for the future of the franchise. I feel like there was something I wanted to talk about here. But yeah, it's really nice to see them going multi-platform. I thought there was something in this one. Maybe it's a different. It might be a different inner article here. So let's go on over to
Okay.
Windows Central, and I believe this was written by Jez Corden. I just want to double check. Windows Central, Jez Corden, of course. So we're gonna scroll down. Go to this one. Now, this was interesting, bro. Jez Corden says, as the director of Final Fantasy VII Remake, I was curious of how Naoki Hamaguchi felt about the way the game had delivered and been received, and if they would consider doing anything differently. Because Naoki Hamaguchi says, quote, "We decided to construct Final Fantasy VII Remake as a trilogy." Hamaguchi explains, If we're going to if we were to totally align with the original and replicate it exactly, I believe that would still appeal to players. Not in the quote, but this is me speaking. Thank you. Just thank you, Naoki Hamaguchi. That is like literally all we want to hear. You know what I mean? Because like there's a lot of times when this argument is brought up where they're like, if it was 1-to-1 remake of the story, man, you wouldn't like it. Would you still be excited? Even Naoki Hamaguchi saying, I believe that the players would still appeal to the players. Like players would still really enjoy that. Okay? So but anyways, back to the
I mean I agree. I know for a fact that there's part of the player base that would love that. So
exactly. And I even feel like even the people who enjoy the remake trilogy right now, it would still be very well received. But that's neither here or there. It was then. This is now.
This is now.
Back to the quote. Quote, but because it became a larger trilogy, we felt it was a necessity to change things up and try different things to maintain interest across each part and pique players' curiosity. I understand that there are differing opinions regarding the choices we have made for the remake series, but I think as a whole, as a developer, I do think that these were the right choices to make, the right decisions to make. I can't comment yet on Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, but I am also a big fan of the original Final Fantasy VII. I am someone who played it when it first released too, I believe that the direction we are taking the series will ultimately satisfy fans who are eagerly awaiting its conclusion.
Very happy to hear that. Very happy to hear that. Because, like I said earlier, man, like he was talking a big game with Rebirth, and yeah, I was happy with what was delivered there. So I like that he's confident about part 3.
Yeah, and this is not the first time we've heard them, any of the developers talking about how this should satisfy fans of Final Fantasy VII, the part 3. And that's a bigger discussion, I think, for another Hypecast, or we can kind of briefly touch on it here. But like, I think when it comes to ending, obviously we're going to do a Hypecast on how does part 3 end, and hopefully everybody will be really excited about that. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm so hype about all this. Like, whenever Hamaguchi speaks, I get hype. I didn't even say what's up to chat. What's up, everybody tuning in? Thank you so much for watching. And we're going to make sure we scroll back through those comments. I want to make sure I'm bringing you guys into the conversation. Wiley, if you don't mind, keep an eye on them as well, and bring them into this conversation when you feel like it.
You got it.
All right, so he continues in this article. Of course, Jez Corden is talking about how somebody who's enjoyed the remake vision so far couldn't help but ask Naoki Hamaguchi what would he like to tackle in the same context with infinite time, money, and resources. What would be the next remake? Oh, this was cool. You're gonna love this. You haven't read this. If I had all the time and the money in the world, Final Fantasy VI is my favorite mainline title. That would be very cool to take on as a remake. That being said,
let's go.
I've put my heart and soul into Final Fantasy VII Remake series for over a decade now. Working on something completely new would be quite fun as well. So
that's crazy to think about, man. A 10-year project.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, 10 years. Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced in 2005.
15.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, 2015. Sorry. God,
I'm like, hold up. The math ain't mathing on that one.
Time's weird, bro. Time's weird.
Time is weird.
Time is weird.
Then, this is now.
2015, man. Oh my god. Well, I'm not actually wrong. Okay, 2005 they had the tech demo, right? Remember the PS3 tech demo when Cloud jumps off?
Yes, I do. Dude,
that was the original announcement. That wasn't actually an announcement.
I was hyped for that too, man. I was hyped for that too.
God, I remember that.
Gaming Track says you're making me feel old, man.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling it too, man. But that is actually kind of crazy, man. 2000. I'm pretty sure it was 2005 because it was promoting the PS3. And
yeah, I can look that up.
I remember seeing that, and I feel like that's really when the fervor really just like, dude, people wanted the remake of Final Fantasy VII, and that just built and built up and it never died. It never stopped. People just kept wanting this thing. So this is why part 3 leading up to this is just insane. The amount of hype is just insane. Now you guys have probably seen up in the top left of your screen, me and Wiley did a Final Fantasy Tactics review, the Ivalice Chronicles. Square Enix provided us with that review code. It was freaking awesome, and would really greatly appreciate everybody watching to go. You can watch the review if you don't really care, but go in there and just click it, give it a view and then a like, so that way it supports. And Square Enix, if they do watch that video, they see that it was getting some good traction. I would really appreciate that from everybody. Whenever you guys are done with this Hypecast, go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it for now so everybody can see half of the chat. Okay. So, continuing on here, he does want to talk about, since this is Windows Central, since it's coming to Xbox, he says, since we're talking about Xbox, I'd like to share my favorite Xbox title. I absolutely love the Fable series, the sense of freedom and choice, and how the player's actions really impact the world. Fable has had a positive influence on my own creative work. Since there's a new Fable title in development, I'm eagerly awaiting it and looking forward to it. So,
nice.
Obviously, we talked about Beauty and the Beast live action remake being an inspiration. We see Fable is also an inspiration. In the episode we had a couple weeks ago, I talked about how like that freedom of discovery in the High Wind, right?
Yes.
We talked about how the High Wind should work, and the word that I kept using was discovery. I even put that in the thumbnail. And since we're talking about Fable here, did you ever play Fable, Excalibur?
I did not.
Okay.
My roommate at the time was a huge fan of it, was playing it quite a bit. So I did see a fair bit, but I never played it. I did not own an Xbox at the time.
Yeah. It is very choice based. It's the Xbox definitive Xbox RPG back then on the original Xbox and even on the 360 and stuff. But yeah, it's very a lot of player agency in that one. So it's interesting that he would reference that. And I mean, I'm sure he's just like, oh, I'm getting interviewed by Windows Central. It's an Xbox centric interview, so let me throw that in there since I like Fable. But it's like, is there more to it? Are we dropping like a hint there? I could be reading into that way too much. But it's like, hey, if Fable is an inspiration and it had an impact on his own creative work, then it's like, hey, maybe we can start bringing that into part 3 if we are going for that sense of discovery and maybe even a little more player agency.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm not talking about going like Cloud, like you can choose Cloud to be an evil king or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
We're talking about inspiration. Here,
yeah, like Cloud,
not the same formula.
Bigglesworth is saying, right? Cloud can have the devil horns. Confirmed. Confirmed. You go like the full-on renegade path. Oh yeah, I like that one too. We really should have do a hypecast on that as well, but we kind of did a what Final Fantasy can learn from Expedition 33 podcast, but Gaming Track saying E33 seems to be an inspiration too. Do you think Square and Sandfall traded ideas since they met up recently and kind of talked and shared some ideas? I mean,
I don't think so. I don't yeah. They're not trading notes. Ain't no way.
I think it is interesting. I would be very curious if they were like, all right, this worked out for you really well. I'm sure like Sandfall, they're big Final Fantasy fans. They've expressed that like how Final Fantasy, I think it was 8. Final Fantasy 8 was a huge inspiration to them. So it's like I'm sure they were like just like, oh, the masters are here. You know what I mean? Like I am but the Padawan. But yeah, so it was kind of cool to see, But
yeah, so Mo says maybe Final Fantasy 17. Now see that.
Oh yeah,
maybe they traded some notes on because
sure.
we're talking pre-production. Oh yeah, you're gonna trade notes all day. Not a game that's a good solid year in progress. Ain't no way. But no. 17, I could see that. I could see that for sure.
I actually wasn't even thinking part 3, but yeah, yeah, good clarification there. Yeah, not for part 3. I don't think there was any swapping notes there, but for future of Final Fantasy, there might have been some notes being swapped. Okay, so that was the Windows Central by Jez Corden interview. Let's go over to Inverse. And this one is Inverse. It's by Hayes Madsen, which shout out to Hayes Madsen, by the way. I've been following him on Twitter. I think this is really awesome. And I'm sure it's awesome for everybody that I just mentioned to be able to speak to Hamaguchi. But for some reason, I follow him on Twitter, and I was just like, you know what? Congratulations to Hayes. I know this is a big moment for him to be able to interview Naoki Hamaguchi. So you got an interview there. It's a great interview. Everybody go check it out. Of course, talking about Switch 2 and Xbox. But then there's this. Now we're getting into some part 3 stuff. Yeah, now I guess now we're getting into it, bro.
It's getting juicy.
Now that you've announced the remake trilogy is coming to all platforms, has that shifted the development in part 3 in any way? How are you accommodating that? Hamaguchi replies, quote, For this, we actually didn't adjust the schedules or development timeline for Part 3 in order to work on the multi-platform release for the 3 titles. Some of the teams have split to work on these titles, or some people are working concurrently and such. So there hasn't been an impact in that sense. In terms of timeline for development of Part 3, there hasn't been an impact in that sense in terms of timeline for development of Part 3.
Yeah, that's a very careful choice of words. That sort of implies that they have a target goal in mind, right? If there's a timeline, then they've got all of their milestones set up. So that means they have a pretty good idea of when they want to roll this out. Very exciting to hear that none of this stuff is having an impact on their development process. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like I think we've mentioned the fact that they have a schedule in a couple of the hypecasts. It's like they're ready. They know the rollout. They know they even said, was it Katase? It might have been Katase saying recently that no, this is Nomura saying that we know when the announcement's going to be. Stay tuned just a little, or hold on just a little longer.
It was Nomura, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they know when it's going to be announced. They know they watched our podcast. They watched our hypecast when I had the timeline.
Of course.
I had the timeline laid out there, like, there it is. There's our notes right there. And I'm like, yeah, man, I got you. So is a simultaneous launch on all systems for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 something you're aiming for? Hamaguchi says, quote, "We currently can't state exactly how it will be released. I do wish to have as many players for Switch, Xbox, and PC included be able to play the game on their desired platform. So we're going to be striving to make that happen in the best way possible." Interesting, like, phrasing there.
Yes. So it's either going to be multi-platform release or it's going to be a short window of exclusivity is sort of what that says to me, but I don't know. Striving to make that happen in the best way possible implies that their hands may be tied and they're working with what they have going. So I don't know. This is interesting.
Yeah,
it seems. Go ahead.
No, I'm just like, all right. Well, here's there's two different things here that I can see. First thing is they're locked in, right? They're locked into that exclusivity.
Yep. Sony signed them for 3 games, maybe. We don't know that, until after the fact. But obviously they can't say. But yes, they could be locked in.
And they might be like, yeah, legally can't state it because of Sony, is what Mr. Bigglesworth is saying. It's like, right. Legally, I can't tell you. We currently can't state exactly how it will be released. And then he says, I do wish for as many players to be able to play on their desired platform. Doesn't say at launch. It's not like he's saying I wish I have a desire for them to play it at launch, but I can't say if it's going to be ready by then.
Right. Striving to make it happen in the best way possible is that very, very careful phrasing there, right?
It's so they might be working out something with Sony. They might have to try to figure that out. Or it could simply just be that, like, hey, we just got Remake working on these consoles. We got to work on getting Rebirth to work on these consoles. So they're kind of working staggered to get there anyways. So it's like once they get Rebirth out the door, it's like, all right, well, now we got to work on getting Part 3. Or are they working on it concurrently, like he said earlier in an interview? Like, concurrently, people are making sure Part 3 is ready for multi-platform. They just have to go back and get the rest. I think I read in an interview that he said they learned quite a bit from getting Remake on these multi-platforms. So, it tells me that they had that they were doing that first before they get Part 3 on multi-platform.
And then they're going to have a pipeline in place. So I expect Part 3 isn't going to take too long once they've got Remake, Rebirth. You've got the pipeline laid. But I agree with Toolman. It's corporate lingo. This is corporate lingo.
I love laying pipeline.
Laying pipeline.
Yeah, I do love that. So we go over to Automaton. Wait, is that how you say it? 'Cause that's Automaton. Automaton. That's a cool name for a website, bro. Automaton.
Automaton.
Automaton. This is by I hope I don't. Ao Kawazi? Ao Kawazi? All right, we'll go with that one.
I can't see it, so I can't.
Okay.
I can't weigh in.
It was on the screen,
a few seconds
so
behind
people they'll see.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
Okay, here we go. You ready for this one?
Let's go.
Some reassuring insights here. All right, so this is regarding the success of Rebirth, right? And like how how there was like a lot of discussion. Oh, it's not performing very well. It's not selling well. Well, he quells those concerns. Yeah, let's quell the fear. Quote, the second entry, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, has been doing very well on both PlayStation 5 and PC. I know some fans have expressed concerns, but please rest assured, we'll be able to deliver a proper, high-quality third installment, end quote. So,
oh yeah.
Listen, guys, it's going to be all right. All right, we got the budget. The numbers have gone through. We're good to go. We're going to make this happen, all right? It's going to be high quality. It's going to be what we envisioned from the beginning, regardless of the sales, but also because of the sales of Rebirth doing really well. And I think he even says on both PS5 and PC, I think PC really helped as well. So Hamaguchi also says that work on the next title is progressing smoothly. Here's the quote. Quote,
oh, here we go.
Development is going extremely well, and the game is shaping up nicely. A lot of the content is already playable, and the game's direction and form are firmly set in place. Right now,
okay,
the team is united around refining everything.
Bro. Fantastic.
Let's do it one more time. Development is going extremely well, and the game is shaping up nicely. A lot of the content is already playable. And the game's direction and the form is firmly set in place. It's not malleable. It's not malleable. It's firm. All right? It's firm. Hard like a freaking rock, dude. This thing is ready to go right now. The team is united around refining everything. FF7.
Love that.
Refine. Thank you, Gaming Tracks. It's the part 3. That's the part 3 title.
That's it.
Okay.
That's what it is today.
So now we're here. We have arrived at the hype. We've arrived at the hype, bro. Okay, we went through the interviews. A lot of great stuff. This quote, I believe, is the most important. I believe it is the most hype of all the quotes of all the interviews. I love this one. Because it tells you a lot about game development.
Let's go.
And the Excalibur, you have some experience within game development.
I do.
Yeah.
I do indeed, sir.
So, I know a little bit from watching, like, I love watching like documentaries. I love watching of course I'm following this stuff all the time. I'm in it. I am wired in, I'm plugged in. I'm plugged into the gaming industry. So, I understand the idea of a concept stage of the game. I understand that games usually don't come together until the very end anyways. Like I understand that I believe is the God of War the God of War like 2016 like reboot where they were saying like leading up to the release they were like I don't know if it's any good. Like it's it was getting close to the wire. Like I don't know, and then all of a sudden it comes down to the final stretch, and everything just comes together. Now, when we're talking about part 3, we're talking about a foundation that's set. We're talking about the foundation set with Remake and Rebirth. He even talked about that before, how the world is already kind of there from Rebirth. Like, I think they said the foundations of the world map is kind of already, you know, half done. And one of the developers said that. So this game is already being built upon a nice, solid foundation. So, you know, a speedy development, better than 7 years, 7 years. We're getting these games at a nice release frame.
Yep.
Okay. We are introducing new gameplay mechanics. One that we know for sure is the high wind.
Yes.
We know the high wind is coming. We know that Hamaguchi himself has talked about how the high wind was one of the first things they wanted to work on. They wanted to get it right. I believe it was at the end of last year that they said they had it working, and they were very happy and with how it turned out. Yep. That was the end of last year. We're 9 months. All right, this baby's ready.
Yeah,
this baby's ready to go.
It's coming along, bro. It is coming along.
Okay, so now I want to throw this. I just kind of wanted to lay that out. Now I want to throw this over to you. What are your thoughts when you hear this quote? What are you thinking?
Well, so I have another quote that I thought you were going to read, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. It's on Shinra Arc.
Okay.
And it looks like he's quoting an interview with Hamaguchi with JP Games.
Okay.
And he's talking about the themes. So Remake had the theme of reunion. Rebirth had the theme of bonds. And they have a theme picked out for part 3. And they are integrating it into the experience in the same way that they integrated the themes, these keywords, right, into the first 2 games. So he says, in terms of development, we're working on that right now. We've got builds running where you can actually experience what that theme is through the gameplay, right? And we know where we're going with it. It's looking like it's going in the right direction, and we'll keep working on it and make it even better. So hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to reveal some of that. And yeah, this is going to be the climax, the finale of the series. We're going to make a suitable finale and a really great send-off for the game. It will be something ideally we hope will please fans, will delight the fans of this much-beloved series, really reward everyone for sticking with us to the end. So we look forward to that. More information in the not-too-distant future. It's all in safe hands. Oh, let's go. Let's go. So, okay. All right. So based on what we know, feels like they are deep into that vertical slice prototype territory, right? They've got playable builds. They've got builds running where you can experience the theme through the gameplay. So that suggests that they're past conceptualization. They're in the stage of testing the mechanical expression of the theme, right? So that's usually like early, mid development. So they're smack dab in the middle. So when the core mechanics are stable enough to experiment with thematic layering, you're right in the middle. So this is great. They've only been working on this part for like what, a little over a year. So okay.
What do you mean? Like what part?
Part 3.
Oh, part 3. Dude, I believe it's actually been.
It's been a year and a half, maybe.
About a year and a half. A little, over a year and a half. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They started right after Rebirth, like right after February.
Right. So we know the pre-production, the conceptualization. They're past all that. They've got their vision locked in. We know the script has been completed.
Yeah, I was going to throw that in there.
We know.
I was going to throw that in there because the script has been completed since last year. Because or it was very, very early this year where Katase was talking about how, I sent it back to Nomura to make some revisions, or back to Kazushige for some whatever. But like he's saying it's done. That story's done. The concept is done. The gameplay is playable in a playable state.
So here's what's interesting, man. So they have a theme first design approach, and a lot of AAA projects, mechanics often come first. The themes are sort of like put in later because they have to make sure that it's working, right? But here, the team is explicitly prototyping around theme as a mechanic. So like that's deliberate. That's
like
narrative driven design philosophy, right? So just like how the bonds inform synergy mechanics, dialogue driven affinity systems, and rebirth, we've got that approach to part 3. So I cannot wait for them to drop that theme. So he's also talking about the confidence he has in the direction that they're going. We know where we're going with it, quote unquote, right? That's a sign that they have found what I'm going to call their North Star mechanic, right? They likely had multiple possible gameplay expressions of their theme, tested them, and they've locked in whatever their central one is. They know where they're going with it, right? So from here, development typically involves expanding and polishing content around that central idea.
Yeah.
So imagine they know what that loop looks like. They're trying to make sure this is a great gameplay loop for 20 minutes. Does this gameplay loop carry the game? Right? So that's where they're looking there. Now, he says they're going to make it even better. So that means that they're still iterating, right? So they're not polishing it. It's not late production yet, but they're past ideation, right? This is a prime feature expansion and iteration phase where the systems are refined and they're making sure they're ready for that like full scale implementation. So I would say the main takeaway is that they're at a point where the theme to gameplay pipeline is very clear, but it doesn't sound finalized. So you have the existence of playable builds, which means they could be stress testing to see if this theme holds up, like I said, across hours of play, not just in a demo loop. But development wise, they're in a stage of validating these mechanics through prototypes. And if they have a prototype, they've got vertical slice. If they got a vertical slice, then they could be trailer ready anytime. So they've locked into that guiding principle. And bro, okay, so where part 3 likely is right now in late 2025, these are my thoughts, okay? So the core pipeline was refined during remake and rebirth. So development will move faster. Okay. The narrative outline is locked. So what they have now is maybe moment to moment writing, cinematic boarding, right? Gameplay tools, and right. And a lot of that's carried forward. So there's a lot. So you can sort of like the amount of reinvention that they have to do is minimal. They have a really strong core concept from rebirth and also just with what we know they have locked in so far. So the next beats are finish up the pipeline for those early milestone builds. And they're probably, my guess is they're already ramping into full production. Locations, boss encounters, story beats, you know.
Yeah.
So okay, so that possible roadmap to the finish line, I would say I think earlier this year they finished pre-production. They had their vertical slice, and so where we're at now is level design, environments, enemy assets, combat encounters. I think we're coming up on VO casting and VO recording.
Oh, I think we're already there, dude.
Yeah, I think the mocap and all that. I think that's where they are right now. They're probably right in the middle of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think early next year we're looking at the alpha milestone. I think they're gonna have the game is gonna be playable from start to finish, but with placeholders, right? They're gonna be playing with pacing, combat, traversal. They'll be finishing up voice acting and stuff like that. They'll have their Q&A testing, and I think late 2026, all the content is locked. They're doing their bug fixes. The marketing ramps way up. 2027. They're coming up on that. It's going gold. They've got their final build submitted. Marketing peaks and they hit that 2027 anniversary announcement. So that's kind of my prediction with like maybe how development is going based on where I think they're at right now. I think they have a really good shot at pulling this off by 2027, bro.
You say 2027 announcement or release? You meant to say
release.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think they're probably planning. I think they could hit the Japan anniversary because here's the thing: if they don't, they have a really good fallback release date. Actually, 2 really good fallback release dates. But either way, I see this landing in 2027.
All right, so I'm gonna bring this in. Bring it in.
Yeah, show me the timeline.
Let's bring
man.
the timeline in, bro. Let's bring it in. I got you. So this is where we are right now. We are definitely in the Game Awards timeline. We're out of the Get Hype now. The TGS thing didn't work out. But I want to come back to. I see you guys in chat talking about Unreal Engine. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But yeah, Game Awards timeline. This is what we had right here. This is what I said. Boom. Game Awards reveal trailer, and then we got Summer Game Fest 2026, Tokyo Game Show 2026, Game Awards 2026, final trailer demo, and launch in early 2027. And that's kind of where you're at. That's where your mindset.
Yeah.
That's what you just said. Of course, there is the one with a little bit of a long com. This is a little more of a wait here. This is the year of Final Fantasy VII scenario where we get the reveal trailer in summer of 2026. Like we're talking we're talking a ways away. Summer Game Fest, and then we get another break, and then we get the 30th anniversary trailer 2027 January. That's the new trailer that we haven't seen for a while, and because we hadn't seen from it, and then it just starts rolling from there, where it's like the year of Final Fantasy VII. This is hype all year long, and then leading up to the release in 2027, just in the fall or holiday. Now, what you were talking about is like, so was there? It feels like what you mentioned was pretty much similar to this timeline, right? Was it
And
similar?
I wish I could see that.
Oh, to the
better.
Game Awards,
let me
the
see if I
Game
can blow
Awards
it up.
timeline, because I put a little question mark for the Excalibur timeline, but it seems like it's pretty similar.
Dude, I think they're pretty close to being locked and loaded on the trailer.
Yeah.
I think the Game Awards, I think what they're doing is really looking at the best spot to drop that trailer based on that interview, man.
And
if they are testing the core theme in their gameplay loop,
yeah, I mean, come on,
they've got some stuff to show. Yeah,
so exciting, and like, so
I think there's a good possibility we're looking at December here. I'm excited, bro.
And like, I hate to keep bringing it up because I feel like it was taken down, and it's like, hey, listen, I'd like for you to stop talking about it. But I mean, when Cody Christian was in the freaking booth, man, like it's just saying like, hey, I feel like these voice actors are in the booth. I know a lot of people thought, hey, that's probably for tactics. I think it's too close for. Well, I mean, it was only a couple lines, I'm sure.
It could have been a wrap up on tactics.
Could have been a tactics edition there, but I don't know. I feel like that would. Yeah, I don't know. It might have been, but I do feel like the recording has either begun or it's about to. Like it's about to start. And I mean, it could start next year and still hit the 2027 like release. I know that they work on the game in the booth for like a year, so you got to give enough time for that. So if this is the rollout, then I feel like they're ready. And of course, like you're saying with that, yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying like what you're saying, like with the Game Awards being the time to do the reveal trailer. If there's any kind of voiceover, then yeah. They were probably in the booth ready to do the voiceover for the trailer at least. Yeah, man. So this is really exciting. We definitely talked about this a lot in that one podcast that we did. So if you guys want to hear all about that, we go into and we break it down, not only just showing you what you see on the screen here, but we go into it and really talk about like the history of marketing and like how that kind of lines up well.
We got a couple things in the chat I got to bring up. So Farther says, "Yacked though."
Yacked in the booth.
What is he recording? Yes, and also we got gaming tracks. You guys never brought up the motion capture cast taking a photo together. Paul Hessing says we know they're still doing mocap for part 3 based off photo evidence.
Dude, that I actually saw that picture and it never popped up on my timeline. I never saw anything about it.
This is my first time hearing about it, dude.
I'm gonna bring it in.
I'm hyped right now. I didn't know this was a thing.
I wonder if I bookmarked it or something because I saw the post and I was like, what? Like I didn't even see that until I was just scrolling. I think I typed in Final Fantasy VII or something in the search bar. Where is that? Somebody have a link? Where is it?
We got
I don't know,
Alex Maddox and
but yeah,
Sia saying that 2027
looking good.
2027 release is looking good. Yeah.
FF7R OCAP. I don't know how to get that image, but I found it. Yeah, they took an image together, and yeah, it's kind of like, was that a wrap? Is that a wrap on the game? Like, what are we doing? Yeah. That image is, hey, it's a wrap. We're done. Which, I mean, obviously there's still a lot of work to be work to be done on the game. Yeah, send it on Discord. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So, with all that being said, I do want to talk about Unreal Engine for a second. I saw a lot of people talking about Unreal Engine, so I got this quote here. Where is it at? There it is. And I'll bring that in. Oogs, there it is. All right. This is talking about, in terms of the hardware specs, I would say the Xbox Series S is actually quite solid in terms of spec. We didn't come across much of a processing challenge, but many of the challenges were more memory related. Optimization is something we were strongly cognizant of as we worked on the PC version as well. For Final Fantasy VII Remake, we took some of the philosophies found in the Nanite for Unreal Engine 5 and created our own solution for Unreal Engine 4. I think this basically just straight up tells you right away that they're still going to be working this in Unreal Engine 4. Like, I think Part 3 is Unreal Engine 4, but what's really exciting about that is that they found philosophies in Nanite for Unreal Engine 5 and created our own solution in Unreal Engine 4. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with what Nanite is, that's like when you are really close to the object, there are so many polygons making up that object and making it look super freaking detailed. And then as you back away, it starts to slowly get the polygons start to get a little bigger and less polygons are used as you get further away. And it's actually one of the most impressive or coolest parts about Unreal Engine 5. So the fact that they were able to kind of engineer that working in Unreal Engine 4 is really cool.
Yeah, that's impressive, man. Like Dan's saying, it's basically like virtualized geometry, right? So you have your LOD, your level of detail is automatically handled, right? So it doesn't require manual setup. You have multiple orders of magnitude that increase geometry complexity. So it's based on distance and things like that. And so that's very interesting. So he's saying that they made their own.
I had to read it a couple times because it was that optimization is something we were strongly cognizant of as we worked on the PC version as well. And he's not talking about how that was implemented in the PC version. He's saying for Final Fantasy VII Remake, we took some philosophies found in that. So I think he's talking about this re-release. I had to read it a couple times, but I really do think he's talking about the re-release for Switch in particular, or Xbox Series S in particular, where he was like, hey, we had to figure out, okay, how do we get around this? Like, we have to create our own solution. And I will say from the PC version I played, I don't think that's not in there. The PC version definitely doesn't have that feature. So it's like, all right, are we getting on the Switch 2 and the Series S or Series X, like these re-releases, are they going to be like new builds? Like they're a new build of Remake.
That's it.
Are we going to get that update for Remake on PC and PS5?
Is there going to be a patch, or is it just a superior version?
Yeah,
in a couple of different ways that we're getting, right? So this is interesting. Yeah, Mr. Bigglesworth, there you go. Virtualized geometry that can theoretically eliminate pop-in. There you go.
And yeah, and the PC version
nice little concise
suffered pop-in.
Yeah.
So I have to assume that this is a new build of Remake that is not on PS5 and PC. Now I feel like the update for like the streamline stuff, is that, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, I thought I saw a video or something of somebody actually going in and changing the settings. And the streamline stuff, is that already in PS5? Did they already update that? I'm not sure. But yeah, okay. fellas, they patched remake with different dialogue like 3 years after release. He's like, they're gonna do it. They can do it. They're fine. Yeah, so that
he's like, don't sweat it. Just wait. Just wait. We're gonna buy a copy of it on all these consoles anyway. I mean, I don't know why we're worried about it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We'll buy the Unreal Engine 5 version when they do the definitive edition. So yeah, that is a really important quote there that I couldn't quite figure out. Like I was like, well, that's got to be a brand new build, and I'm wondering if we're going to get that update on the PS5 and the PC version to kind of say, hey, here's, you guys get the build too. But it's also really, really cool and exciting for this re-release, especially on the Switch too. Like that, and they're saying that it's going to run at 30 frames per second. Like he said, I'm very confident that we have a build that is very impressive. That's going to be what did he say? An HD feature on Switch 2 of like showcase of what the Switch 2 is able to do. And honestly, I believe him on that. So like a solid 30 frames per second on the Switch 2.
Exciting stuff. Which
is really cool. Yeah, that's really, really exciting. And I know, 30 frames per second is how I played the game. Both games even on PS4, so I mean PS5. Really, really cool. So, what else were we were talking about? Something I feel like, but man, I feel like we brought the hype today. I feel like the hype is surging through my veins right now. Chat, what do you guys think? Are you guys hype? I know we took these quotes and they might have felt like they were a lot about nothing, but trust me, I think we found something. I think we found some hype. We found some excitement out of this. We have a couple minutes. Before we close out this one. Do you guys have any questions, or if you can scroll through chat, Wiley, for me, and let's bring the chat into the conversation a little bit here. And while we do, what I want you guys to do, I want you to ask us anything you want, and we'll be back in a second. We have a very important video that came in recently that I got to share with you guys. So, here we go. This is Kalia with Unsolved Mystery.
Welcome to another episode of Final Fantasy V Unsolved Mysteries. We continue looking into the disappearance of the planetologist after the shockful events that took place on the last episode of Rebirth Chapter by Chapter Analysis podcast. The fate of the planetologist still remains a mystery and has given rise to much speculation in the Final Fantasy V community. Some already believed he suffered a fate similar from that of Pipili the chicken. Some said he was just on an extended leave. But new developments may have come to light at the last Final Fantasy V podcast. A voice came to haunt Dragoon King right at the end of the show. A voice that other members of the panel claimed not being able to hear, but that may be all too familiar. What does this mean? Could this have been the planetologist, or was it just a really bad attempt at AMSR? And if it was the planetologist, where is he? For those of you who keep trying to dissuade us from finding the planetologist, for those of you who have been making allegations against our show, what are you afraid of? Know that we will not be dissuaded and that we will do our best to find what happened to the planetologist. So join us next time for another episode of Final Fantasy V Unsolved Mysteries. If you have any information on the planetologist, please call the Final Fantasy Unsolved Mysteries hotline at 777-777 Final Fantasy V. Warning, we will not answer it.
So yeah, I mean, like, just a very important message there for those looking for the planetologist. He's still out there, and we need to find him. Quite frankly, it was an injustice for what happened to him. Back to the chat. Thank you so much. I hope you guys, brought in some questions here. We got Alex Maddox saying, "What did you think about the comment Hamaguchi made regarding coming up with something even more different in terms of battles? I think they also confirmed Sid and Vincent as playable." Where is that one? where is that quote, Alex? Help me. You can.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah, message me on Twitter. Send me the link. I don't know if I have links turned off on chat, so that might be a problem. if you're trying to send it in chat, send it on Twitter in a message, and I'll check it out. That's crazy. Did not know that he talked about that. So regarding coming up with something even more different in terms of battles, I will say that a Hypecast coming up is already in the works, and I know I had that I had that freaking that YouTube thumbnail. It was up, a scheduled event for Re-Advent, Re-Children, right? That topic is going to happen, but we're pushing it back more and more and more because when it comes to the news and the hype, we got to bring the hype before the theories. But we're bringing the hype first, and that right there is something I really want to hype up. The keyword that might be the next Hypecast, so get excited. What is the keyword for part 3? I have my ideas. I talked about it a little bit already when it came to the couple Hypecasts back, talking about discovery, but I didn't talk about how discovery needs to be implemented into every single aspect of part 3, and I'm going to talk about what I think that could look like. And then, of course, Dragoon King and Excalibur will also have their keywords, and you know, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to bring that one to you guys next. The Hypecast, that's going to be the next Hypecast. So be excited about that one, and of course that has to include battles. So we're going to talk about battles. We got Sia saying, my question: have you guys seen the very good theory video of STD27? It is one of the best theory videos I've seen, and I haven't seen any with his idea. Would really love your thoughts on it. I've actually not seen that. Have you?
I have not.
Steed27. Steed27.
Looking it up right now.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, we'll watch it. And if you come back next Hypecast, remind us, and I'll let you know what I think of it. Yeah, no, I'll tell you what I do see it. So I actually don't watch a lot of content creators because I really want, when I come onto this show, I want all the ideas to be my own. And I know that if I'm watching a lot of other theory videos from other content creators, that it will be put into my mind subconsciously, right? Through the collective unconscious, it'll be there, and I'll draw from it, and then I'll act like it's my own, just because I'm like, yeah, it's coming down my brain, it's mine. You know what I mean? But so I try to steer away from other theories. So what I'm saying on this show is mostly, or hopefully, all mine. You know, I won't deny that I've watched here and there. You know, gotta support my content creator friends best I can. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you're hype, because we are. Take care now. Bye then.